Hey guys, it's Ashley from Another Ashley Outdoors, and I'm going to talk to you about what it's like to hunt with chronic body pain. When I first started hunting, I did not have nearly as much body pain as I do now, and I've had to revamp my hunting style multiple times because of the issues that I do have. The things that work best for me hunting-wise are, if I spot and stalk, it's a lot easier because it keeps me moving, which keeps me warm, which keeps my ligaments moving as well, and it keeps my muscles and everything from getting cold and freezing up and being absolutely excruciating. So the more movement that I have, the more warmth I have, and the more it loosens everything up, and it keeps me a lot more comfortable. Something that I found this year was saddle hunting, and it has been absolutely phenomenal because when I sit, there's pressure in my tailbone, which hurts my hips, and then I am down for about 3 days. So with the saddle, where it distributes weight and everything, and where it hangs off your hips and there's different pressure points, it keeps it from all being on my tailbone, and it keeps me from being down for 3 days after I hunt, which is absolutely phenomenal because sitting on the ground, sitting in a blind chair, sitting in a tree stand seat, any of those end up hurting. And same goes for like the tree stand seat. If I'm sitting in that, I can't stand in it because then if I stand for too long on a hard surface, my feet swell. And that's not a fun time either because then my ankles hurt into my heels and then it goes up into my toes. So it's just, it's finding a balance in what I can and cannot do. And it's been a very trying venture, to say the least. Warmth is a super big factor for me because all of my stuff is triggered by the cold. I have worse flare-ups when it's cold, and the pain is intensely more, I don't even have words right now. Like, it's so much more awful during the cold seasons than it is during the warm seasons. So keeping warm is one of my biggest things. The moment I get cold and I start hurting, I'm done. I cannot stay out. My ribs feel like they're closing. My hands feel like they've been destroyed by all sorts of different sharp objects, and they're hot and they burn and they're cold, and it's not a fun time for me. So staying warm has become a big push for me, which is part of the reason why I am wanting to do this study on stuff for what helps people with Raynaud's in the outdoors or something similar, because I'm not sure exactly what I have yet, but it acts in the same way as Raynaud's does. So I just want to try and find stuff out there for people that do struggle with the same things that I do, because it sucks and it's hard to try and figure out what to do, and it makes you want to give up. Like, getting to where you get to, just finding out medically what's wrong with you is already really hard in trying, let alone having to change everything you do in your life. And it's hard. I'm not here to complain, I'm just here to make sure that everybody knows that they're not alone. Like, it's tough. And there's more people out there than just you, and I promise you that. 'Cause I'm here. Hi. Another really important thing is flexible clothing, so that I have full range of motion. If my clothes aren't flexible and I can't consistently walk properly, my hips are going to hurt and I will be down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If my stuff is too tight, if it's too loose, if it's too baggy, if it's too anything, I cannot do it. I've worn Justin suits, and those wear my legs out. I've worn some of my stuff and it's been too tight, it's been too big, it's been too everything, and I have to make sure that my clothing fits me properly, otherwise it hurts. Like, it's so silly to say that my clothing hurts me if it doesn't fit properly, but I don't know anything other than that. Like, it just hurts, and it causes everything to be worse. So make sure that your clothing fits really, really well for you, and you have a full range of motion in it if you're suffering with chronic pain. It will help you, I promise. I'm not saying it'll take it away, but it'll make the walk a lot easier. And if you're climbing up steps or anything for like tree stands or ladder stands or saddles, it'll make climbing a whole heck of a lot easier if you have proper fitting clothing. Over the past year, I have been reducing the weight on everything I own possible. because I need the lightest weight possible. Anything with weight to it starts to hurt my back. I shot a bow different than the one that I shoot now, and I couldn't hardly hold it out like this because of how much it would hurt my back just trying to hold the bow up. So as far as backpacks, as far as gear, as far as bows, as far as anything and everything that I'm taking with me into the woods, I want it to be as light as I can humanly possibly get it, because any extra amount of weight is extra strain on my body, and it is so hard to deal with that when you've got the walking, you've got the hills, you've got the climbing, you've got the cold, and it's just every little thing that you can do to make your body a little bit happier is worth it. It's just, it takes you focusing on what you notice about your stuff that hurts you, and if you pay attention to it, you'll start feeling it. Change out your backpack, change out your bow, change out the weight, change out, like, just slowly start changing stuff up and see what works better with you, because I can assure you, if you go a little bit lighter, you're probably going to feel a little bit better. But less layers gives you more movement in your hips. When you're looking for clothes, try and find something that's super, super warm, and then try and find a base layer. That way you don't have as many layers underneath bunching up and keeping your hips restrained from moving properly, and that will help your hips out quite a bit too. Another thing you want to make sure you get is a proper fitting backpack. So the weight that you hold on your back is going to determine a lot, but also the backpack that you have. If the straps aren't proper for you and there is no kidney belt, you do not have any extra support and you are just holding it straight with your back. I don't know if everybody goes through this, but when I put a backpack on my back, it immediately arches like this because that's just what it wants to do. And there's immediate stress, tension, and pressure on both sides of my back underneath of my shoulder blades. When I find backpacks, I'm looking for something that is a little bit smaller in the torso and has thick straps and has a real nice kidney belt and has a chest strap. That way I know that there's a support system here, there's a support system here, and there's more than just a thin strap here supporting on my shoulders. That's a lot of problematic areas, and a backpack has a lot of components to it that are going to hit in different parts of your back. And then you start adding weight into it, and it just kind of depends on how the backpack's made, how thick the straps are, and whether or not it's decent. And that's something that I don't want to skimp on, is something that puts so much pressure on my back. I want to investigate. I want to find a backpack that is for my frame, for my size. So make sure that you go out and try on backpacks. Don't just pick the next backpack that everybody says, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing. It's really important for the structure of your body, especially if you have continual chronic pain. Like, make sure we're making smart choices for our bodies. This is one that I get in trouble for quite often. My husband keeps telling me that I need to shoot a different rifle because the rifle that I currently carry is 13 pounds. But it has a Timney trigger and it is smooth like butter, and it's so hard to just not want to shoot that gun. But try and find a lightweight rifle. You're going to be packing it through the woods. You're going to be holding it up. You're going to need it to be lighter weight. That way it doesn't put pressure and stress and tension, again, on your back. If you're a bow hunter, drop your bow poundage. I hunt with 35 pounds. It'll kill a deer. Kids hunt with 35 pounds. They kill deer. We don't have to prove anything to anyone. If you're wanting to build up your muscle strength, that's one thing, but I don't think you should shoot completely out of your limits. There's no sense shooting and making your body hurt. Just drop your poundage. It's not that hard. Only pack what you need in your backpack. If you've got 5 grunt calls and 37 doe blacks and 2 things of black racks and 72 bottles of deer scent and a half a pound of deer corn, you're not doing yourself any favors. Make sure you carry the most minimalistic bag possible. I think I have my ozonics, I have a doe call, I have a grunt call, I have water, and I think that's about it in my bag. Like, I do not carry there's scent in my bag too. But I do not carry very much stuff in my bag for the purpose of weight, and also so that I can carry my layers in and out. That way I don't turn into a baked potato in the woods, because nobody likes a soggy, squishy baked potato. Sometimes it happens, but I try to avoid it. Just make sure you're lightening your your backpack and making sure that you are not carrying in unnecessary things. And again, make sure that the stuff that you do put in your backpack is the lightest you can afford, because any little bit of weight matters. Alright, my final thing is make sure that you keep some Tylenol or your prescriptions on you. It is very important. I'm going to make myself a little felt fleece pill container thingy so that I can carry them with me, and that way they don't rattle around in a container or anything like that. If y'all are crazy like me and don't want to hear the noises and you want a little case, let me know. I'll probably post a picture of what they look like here before too long. So that's all I've got on chronic pain and hunting. Just make sure that you're not trying to keep a bunch of weight on you in your backpack because you might need it. Make sure that you try and get the lightest weight products you possibly can. Make sure you have space in your clothing, but not too much space. Make sure you're staying warm. All those fun things. So yeah, I think that's all I've got for that. So enjoy your hunts and don't give up. Bye!